Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live show, The Bone Shard Emperor. This is the second book in the Drown Empire trilogy. So I just want to warn everyone now, this entire live show is going to be spoilers, for the first one for sure, but also for the second one. So if you haven't read those two, warning now, you might not want to keep watching until after you have, unless you don't mind spoilers, which I don't understand that, but...
It's my mom. She doesn't mind spoilers. She's always like, "Tell me what happens." I'm like, "But you should read it."
I know. I mean, kudos to them for having that much chill. I do not.
No, me neither. I can't sit through a whole show or book or series, knowing the end, unless it's a reread and you're like, "Ooh, I want to see the clues."
Yeah.
But if you just know what's anyway.
Yeah. I remember I got spoiled for something big in Grey's Anatomy, and I'm like, no. Like, I can't believe you did that to me.
Makes sense.
For like 5 seasons. But welcome. I'm here with Joanna, pointing the wrong direction. We're going to be chatting about the Bone Shard Emperor, which here so it is. Look how pretty it is. I really like the colors of this series. I love how they made them so vibrant. Yeah. Like it's less common with fantasy books. So I really do like
They definitely stand out on the shelves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be our discussion. We both literally just finished it because, that's the type of people we are.
Yep.
But, okay, give me a little bit of your overall feelings right now, having just finished it.
Okay, I think I'm a bit conflicted. I liked it a lot, but I remember the first time I read the first book, I was obsessed. Mm-hmm. And I'm not having that replicated with this being the first time reading book 2 for me.
Yeah.
So I really liked it, but there's some things that I don't know. I assumed things were going to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, surprising. This is where we're going. And I really liked it. I'm very much looking forward to the last book and see how it all wraps up and where we're going. But I feel also a bit like I'm still processing what happened. So I'm actually very excited to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. And I don't know if maybe this is just me, but I felt like the big reveals that happened, like I felt like I guessed them or close to guessed them all.
Okay.
Or pretty much all of them. And so I felt like that was very odd because usually in books it's a mix, particularly fantasy books, right? Because they tend to have a lot of these reveals.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I felt like I guessed a lot of them. And I was like, how is this happening? Like, is it that predictable? Or do I just think along the same lines as this author? Because like, I don't want to like put that on the author. Like, wow, this book was so predictable. Like,
yeah.
But like I did. I felt like I just kind of saw everything coming. And so I was a little bit disappointed in that. And like that's not really the book's fault. Like, but
I'll admit I was just listening to it. So I wasn't really trying to guess, or I was just along for the ride, honestly. Yeah. And so but I know that there were some reveals where I was like, well, yeah, obviously that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, how did I not see this coming?
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I felt like I had less emotional investment in this book.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, yes. So I would agree. I'm interested to see where it goes into the third one because I don't know how I feel about some of the things that were left at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, seriously? Okay. One of my things, and we're going into spoilers, we're doing it. One of my things is how in a giant army of constructs was the only one who survived Nisong. Like, come on. Like, what is that? And they didn't notice her. She was able to get to Coral, have her moment. She saw where the priest, whatever his...
Oh, yeah, I forgot his name already.
Starts with an R.
Yeah, because I was listening to it. I don't know what the name looks like, so I can't...
Yeah, I was reading it and I still don't know it. Rhaegon.
Okay.
Kind of like Rhaegon. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, too close to someone I actually like.
I know, right? So she happened to see where Rhaegon went. She saw the battle, even though she was in the middle of a battle and they weren't even close to being near the site of the actual battle. They were way down the hill. Like, I don't know. It felt extremely just plot convenience
Yeah.
there. Like, that's so unrealistic that she's the only one who survives out of an entire army.
Yeah.
And she happens to know where to go find Rhaegon and know what he is and know, like, no. She's,
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
unscathed and just takes no. That, like, I'm sorry, but I don't buy it.
No.
Also, one of mine things is, what are the odds with the fact that 3 islands have now sunk? They're in the middle of a war where she has now, like, murdered every single person on all of these other islands. And they had this big old huge battle where tons of other people died. They're in the middle of this bog rot where tons of people are dying. How are none of her shards dying? Because she's been around quite a while.
Yeah.
Like, she's not young. How are these people who she's using their shards not dying? Like, some of them have to be dying. How is she still just, like, going like it's nothing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how, and also, I don't know, at some point you would think, I mean, I guess she's very much jaded and everything, but at some point you should be starting to balance things out and think, maybe this is not worth it or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And she just, she keeps on promising people, like, she's gonna stop, she's gonna go back, she's just gonna chill. And she just keeps on, I'm like, you've killed an entire army. Like, wasn't your whole point to save these constructs? And now they're all dead because of you anyway?
All dead.
Yeah, and plus the people, like, I don't get it. Yeah.
No, I agree. Oh, hello.
Oh, hey, yeah, I saw you in the last live too.
Welcome. That's cool that you just finished Bone Shard Emperor and we are now doing this live. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. But... welcome. I hope you enjoy our scattered thoughts, but...
yeah, we're always very scattered.
Yeah, so I don't know. I felt like that was extremely plot convenient. But then again, I feel like there has been quite a bit. Like, at the end of the Bone Shard daughter, the fact that all of the constructs were going for her, and yet she had time to rewrite them.
Yeah. Like, how do you do it?
What? No way. And during this battle, I thought it was a little more realistic because she had people around her protecting her while she did it. Yeah. So that one I was like, I get, like, that one makes a little more sense. But like, when it's like a mano-y-mano type thing, you're like, everything's going for you.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. That was the last book, sorry. But yes, I do feel like that those are just weird plot conveniences because I'm like, it's not like Nisong is like, because Rhaegon surviving made sense. Like, I thought it was annoying, but it made sense because he's extremely strong and he heals. Yeah. Right. He's an Alonga. So that I get that. But her, she shouldn't. She's not extra strong. She's not extra good at fighting.
We just need her to continue the plot, and that's why she's still there.
I think she should have ended in this one, and they should have moved on and fought like the Eye of Karn in the next one.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah, like this was her end. It just made sense for this to be her end. It didn't really make sense for her to continue after this book.
Yeah. And honestly, I thought when she was going to be confronted with Lyn, or like rather when Lyn was going to be confronted with Nisong, that like it would be a big reveal, because they made it such a big reveal at the end of book 1. And so I thought it was going to be this pretty, I guess, epic moment, you know? And then it was just like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah. At least it's how it came across to me. I don't know if it came across to you like that.
Yes, but I also, like, I agree with that. I felt like their meeting would be some sort of a big deal because she's a construct calling herself Lyn's older sister. How is no one putting this together that Lyn is also a construct?
Yes. And like, when did the Emperor, I don't know, it's just... Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand how no one is questioning this, particularly when she found out the rest of her family are constructs. Like, everyone that's her family are constructs. How is no one being like, I wonder if she is too?
But technically, Lyn isn't a construct, so that's what we find out, right? So
yeah, but she's still made. Like,
yeah, she's made, absolutely. Yeah, and no one asks the question, and no one is just like, curious about anything.
Questioning this?
No. No. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. She's a
but
replica.
she's not exactly a replica because she was made from a bunch of different people,
Yeah.
whereas the replica of her dad was made from him, like
Yes,
literally
exactly.
grown from his toe. So
It's disgusting.
Kitty, oh
I
my gosh, look how
know. He's
cute.
been meowing for like an hour almost, also in the other live show, and I'm like, I know, we just have to wait
Oh
now.
my goodness, look how cute you are.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh yeah, you've been sleeping all day. Now you wake up and you're hungry.
Yeah, fair enough. I get it.
Come here.
Right. So, like, okay, this kind of confuses me a little bit. How is she, like, how did he bring her to life with all of these different parts?
Yeah.
When I kind of get that he grew Bayon and the other one from himself,
Yeah.
which, again, I don't get how it works, but I get that. But aren't constructs made from different parts of different animals or people? Like, isn't that what they are? So how is she different? Because she's made from different parts of different people.
So what I'm wondering is if his constructs, like the ones that are like different animals, if they are replicas and constructs, and people like Nissan and stuff, they are constructs just because of the shards. I don't know.
So is that it? Is it because she has no shard? She doesn't have shards. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, because
How did he bring her to life?
I don't know, because the whole point is like she has her own shard. She didn't get her bone shard removed,
Right,
because
yeah.
otherwise she couldn't have bonded to Thrana.
Right, but is she run by construct? Like, is she run by shards? Does she have any inside of her? Because Bayon did.
Yeah.
And he was technically a replica because the king grew him from himself.
Yeah, exactly.
So how is she not?
I know. I don't
Like,
understand.
I don't really get it.
No, me neither. And I'm a bit confused myself, because I'm like, wait, how did she find out again that she was a replica / construct? Was that when?
I think she found out when she found out Bayon was,
right?
and then she started to suspect that she was, and then found out that Lynn had died.
Right.
She found out Lynn had died, and that's how she discovered she was a construct.
But she must have shards, because she must have that, yeah.
Like,
because Bayon did too.
Yeah, and he was a replica. We know that.
Yeah, so she must.
She must have shards. So she kind of is a construct. I don't see how there is a difference between what she is and what the other constructs from the island were, except for the fact that she seems to remember better than they did.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think she's saying she's a replica, but I don't think she really is it. And if she is, we need more explanation as to that, because she was made from different parts of different people and brought to life with shards. So that would make her a construct, right? Like,
exactly.
not seeing something?
Exactly. I was confused myself too. I was like, wait.
Michelle is too, apparently. We're all confused. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because Bayon was a replica.
Yeah, definitely.
So how is she? But he still had shards.
She's the same, I'm sure. Yeah. So now I'm wondering, is the whole difference the bone shards? Like, is that what makes you what makes you different?
We're all confused. But he didn't take bone shards from any of the constructs he made. He didn't take them, he put them in.
So technically, all these constructs could bond with. Okay.
Oh my gosh, what if Nisong does?
That's literally why I said that, because I'm kind of over her,
I am too. I feel like she was a good villain for this book, but she's done. Like,
and even in this book, I was never really anticipating her chapters. Every time it was her chapter, I was like, oh, it's her again.
I didn't like her, but I was like, okay, like it's fine. Like, I see where you're going with this plot. We have to like defeat this evil that her dad has created.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm done. I don't care about her storyline anymore. It needs to have ended.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who felt that way, because when she
No,
survived, I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
I know, and I really hoped, like, when she survived, I was like, okay, can we at least have a thing where she actually decides to not continue on, or someone catches her? But no, 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 of course not. So
I think I wouldn't have minded that she survived if she would have decided she was going back to that island and just living out her
yep,
life in
exactly.
peace. I think that would
Which
have been it.
would have been a good end, and then moving
Yeah.
on with something else. But yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel like I would have been able to accept the very high impossibility that she was the only one that survived if that was what happened, where we kind
yeah.
of saw this little bit of redemption. Oh my gosh, your cat is not
I
being.
know he's so angry. Let me close the door, see if it
Cute.
helps a bit. I'm
You're fine.
sorry.
I don't mind the noise. It doesn't bug me.
He's so angry. He's like, I want to go outside. I want to eat.
It actually doesn't bug me at all. I love cats. So
Silly cat.
he can meow in our live show all he wants. I was sorry. Yeah, right. I feel like I felt sorry for her at first as well, because she
Yeah.
was just like made and then thrown away on this island. And so I was like, that sucks. And all of these people just put there because he just couldn't bring himself to kill him. Like,
And why would he care all of a sudden?
yeah, I also find that hard to believe, because I don't think he would have had any issue killing Lynn if she stepped out of line.
No, he wouldn't have. But he proved it
Yeah.
with buy-in with her. Why would he? Why would these be different? Like I'm
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I felt like that was not in character with him, which bugs me when authors do that, when they make this character and then they do something that I'm like, that's not in their character. Like,
Yeah,
you already
exactly.
made it. You can't give yourself that little out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like at first I felt, but then she was like full on evil.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, she had no kind of morals whatsoever. She just like
Nope.
burned houses down. She, without any kind of like pain medication, was chopping bones out of these people's heads.
Which she
Like,
was like
ah,
she was so mad about what had been done to them, understandably. But then you go ahead and butcher other people and do basically the same stuff to others. And it's just the whole, I don't know, like I feel like you have to remember that she was under this brain fog for so long in book one, you know, so she didn't remember things and she started remembering sooner than others. But like, how do you go from, oh, I'm just here picking mangoes to I'm gonna kill a whole entire nation without even thinking about it? Like, I feel like you would have so much more, it would take so much more time for you to just like go ahead and think about, okay, what do I want to do? Like, this is also confusing. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I actually had a theory on that. What I thought was potentially the reason she failed as a construct, because she seemed to be very smart. She had quite a bit of Nisong's memories. She seemed very attached to the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, she had those aspects of her that he really wanted in his like new construct, right? Maybe she had too much of her like brutality and her ambition. Like, maybe
Oh
she just
yeah.
had too much of that and he couldn't temper it. And so that's why she was a failed construct.
Maybe that
Because
would make
everything else
sense.
seemed to work great. She was great at the bone shard magic. She, like, all of the other things seemed to be, she was exactly what he wanted her to be. But maybe that was too much. Like, maybe she was too brutal and too like power hungry, because those were traits of Nisong that he probably tried to put into her, but maybe he put too much.
But why would you think then that he kept all the other people alive, other constructs? Like,
Yeah.
it's just
One of them, they said, it was mentioned briefly, like super quick, that she was the aunt, like Wylan.
mm,
Why would he make a construct? Was that like his first attempt to make her before he made one of her that he sent back to the island? Because
mhm.
that's not what I understood it as when I was reading it. I thought that it was actually Wylan's body that he animated again after draining her of her blood. But I could be mistaken. Did you get it differently?
Oh, I have no idea. I honestly, I probably did not hear this part in the other books. I don't remember.
Okay, maybe this is just me like looking
I
into
think I need to like immersion read the last one because I feel like this one it's hard to just listen to.
yeah.
But I had like no time, so I
I
had to
think
do it.
part of the reason is because it's confusing, and nothing against the author, but I just don't think it's not explained well enough,
I agree.
and not in an intentional way, I don't think. I think she tries to explain, but it just doesn't work
Yeah.
as well for people who are, like, trying to actually dive into it.
Yeah.
Cats
And I
don't.
also they are. And something that kind of bothers me a little bit is like, at the end of the last live show, you and I were kind of debating, ooh, are the Alanga the Mephies? Are Lynn and Jovis the Alangas? What are the
Right, and
Alangas?
that's what we did say. We thought that Lynn and Jovis were gonna become Alanga.
Yeah, we did. But I feel like in this book, it was kind of just like, oh, by the way, hi, we're Alanga. And you're like, isn't this supposed to be like, I feel like it should have been a much bigger deal,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like that's my issue with this book specifically is that there were so many questions in book one. Who or what were the Alanga? What are they? And all these things. And then all of a sudden, to me at least, it felt like in book two, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, of course, obviously. And you know,
Yeah, I
it's
do
just
know. I think for me, one of the big things that I found so weird is that when they found out they were Alanga, they did absolutely nothing to try to research the Alanga, to try to figure out their powers, to try to figure out the animals. Like, is there some sort of upkeep you should be doing here with these guys? Like,
yep.
and then when Rhaegon, when he came in, right, Lynn was trusting him and all that. Great, but he's like, I have all this information. I want to train you. I want to help you. They took none of it. I'm like, why are you not doing it? These Alanga are historically uber powerful. You have armies coming at you. Why on earth are you not trying to hone your abilities and become warriors to protect your people? Like, you're just ignoring this huge source of power that you have.
And exactly, and it makes no sense because
Yeah.
if you were put in that situation and you discovered all of a sudden you're an all powerful species, you would want to know. You would want to know what am I doing that could put other people in danger? How can I defend my people? I have this animal companion that clearly is source of my powers and everything. What do they need? What do I like? How does it work? And then trying to find other Alanga. They never try to find other Alanga. They kind of just happen to stumble upon them. And it's like,
I know.
right, okay. And you don't ask yourself what makes an Alanga until the very end where you're like, oh, we find out that all the people who didn't get their bone shard removed can bond to these animals. And it's like, but where did they come from? How did we, why now and not so many years ago? Like, it's just.
Yeah. And yes, I like the abrupt conclusions is just
Yeah.
weird to me. How like we have these huge buildups and then it's like, boom, here it is. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing that's leaving a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, I guess, with this book so far. It's abrupt conclusions. It just feels like we're going somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where we're going.
Yeah. And for me, as soon as they like the journal, I thought that was really interesting. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, finding that, learning about what happened. But like as soon as they said like this is Dion's journal, I was like, oh, Geo's Dion. Like
Oh,
as
I didn't think
soon
about it.
as they said whose journal it was, I was like, yep, that's him. He's him.
How did you know?
I just feel like because he used the power. So from the first one, I was like, he's Alanga. Like I know he is.
I remember.
And then when they did that, I was like, he's Alanga who has a lot of knowledge, who has a lot of bitterness and stuff. So I was like, oh, it's him. Like I know it is.
Makes sense.
I don't know. That's just the first thing that popped to my head.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do have like thoughts on him that I was wondering. For one, he just let Jovis come in and take the weapon that can kill him. He just, sure, go ahead, take it. I don't care. No, like, no. Are you kidding me? No, Jovis is dumb. He knows Jovis is dumb. And Jovis proved he was dumb by giving that weapon to this very bad guy who would kill them. Like, no, he would never let Jovis take that. Are you kidding me?
And that's exactly what you were saying earlier. I feel like some of these characters act out of character to further the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's convenient to the plot, and it's just I don't like that. Because this guy is like, he has all this knowledge and all of a sudden he's just gonna let that happen. You're like,
Yeah, especially because his whole purpose right now is to bring back the Alanga. So
Yeah.
would he really want a weapon that can kill all the people he's worked, sounds like thousands of years to bring back, out there in the world, just willy-nilly, whoever had, like, no, he would not be allowing that weapon out there when he's just now building up his people again. He would not
exactly.
do that.
And why would he not, like, I don't know, if he's starting to see that more Alanga are arriving, I don't know what you call it, but
Becoming made, I don't know.
yeah, I think if I were him, I would be like, I would try to get them all to come to me so I could train them, so I could teach them and stuff. And that's not what's happening either.
He's just like letting him chill out there alone, having no idea what's going on.
Exactly. Like your life's mission. Like, I'm sorry, the live show I just came out of was the Storm of Swords one. So I'm thinking Game of Thrones in my head, and I know it's bad to compare one of the greatest fantasy series of all time anyway. But like, if you just go even by the show, the Night King, he was making sure like all them Craster babies were coming to him so he could have more of his people. He was resurrecting all the dead people as soon as he could. This should have been Geo the whole time. He sees an Alanga, he's like, right, okay, I'm gonna go pick them up, I'm gonna go train them, I'm gonna go train them in their power so we can defeat all these people that want to kill us or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
That's not what he's doing. And I'm like, how? I don't know.
I know, because he says that's his point, and he does want to kill the Emperor's family, which, great, fine, like, I'm on board with that too. If you'd killed all my people, I'd want to kill you too. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a very normal motivation. But he's super powerful. The Emperor was literally standing feet from him, along with another Alanga. Dude, chop her head off, be done. No one would know you're sitting next to this pile of like garbage. Kill her. And you're like, you've accomplished your ends. Like, what? I don't really understand what the problem was here.
No.
I don't get it. Like, I feel like she's trying to give him motivations, but his actions actually don't speak towards the fact that he wants to do what she's saying he wants.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just found it very weird. That's what I understand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's my understanding as well, is he just swapped one of the 7 for another of the 7. And I guess we don't really know if all of the 7 survived or just some of them, because I'm guessing the Alanga tried to destroy them, so there is a chance that there aren't 7 left. I would think that there's probably less. If there were weapons out there that could kill you, you probably are trying to destroy them.
I mean, that's what would make sense. But
I also find it very strange that Geo did not destroy the one that he had.
Yeah, why keep it?
I don't know. Apparently he just like thought it was fine to let it go out in the world, but whatever. Yeah, so I think that he just swapped one for the other. It was like he swapped the one that was the Emperor's for the one that was Dion's.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that's essentially what happened there, I think. But yeah, I'm assuming there's probably going to be a couple more pop-up, but I doubt that there are 7 still.
Yeah. Plus,
yes.
I don't know. I mean, the last book is pretty thick, but I feel like there's so much to wrap up. Like, I don't think we'll get satisfying answers to everything.
Yeah. And I think if Nisong had died in this one, it would have been a lot more reasonable to wrap it up in one book. But I feel like you have Nisong, Rhaegon, and the Eye of Karn all to contend with still. Like, you have all 3 of your big bad, plus Geo, kind of. I mean, he's still kind of not on our side, right?
Yeah, no.
But we have like all of the big bads still alive. We haven't defeated any of them. And that's not an ideal way to go into a final book in a trilogy, in my opinion.
No, I agree. So also, did you get this thought that she really that she likes the Cosmere? Because at the end there were like 16 shards, and I was like, really? 16 shards?
Shards. I see what you did there.
And 16, and I was like, oh.
Clever. She
Maybe this is
probably
just
does.
us being Brandon Sanderson
Maybe it
fanatics.
is. Maybe it's just because we're nerds and so we see
Yeah.
that. But
You're like, Brando Sando everywhere.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What did you think? Because last time we talked about them a lot. Well, a lot. We talked about how much we didn't like their perspectives. Renami and Falu. What did you think this time around?
I thought it was an improved
Yeah,
perspective, but
I
I
agree.
still don't like them. I just am not into their perspective. I don't care about them.
No, and even I thought that with the little girl that they were thinking about adopting slash training, I thought that could really be something where you get character development through
Mhm.
this situation, but it didn't feel like it. It kept on feeling like Ranami was just like, I don't trust her because I used to be a gutter orphan and I know what I would have done to survive. But then I was a gutter orphan. I knew what I would have done to survive. So really, should I not be trusting her just because of that? Maybe I should be trusting her just exactly because. And it was like, come on, like what is going?
I
And then
know. I felt
yeah,
like there was way too much I was a gutter orphan in those perspectives. I'm like, I get it. Like, we all get it at this point. Let's move on.
yeah, and it's just like if you don't trust this little girl, follow her from the beginning. And then you can knock
Right?
off the doubts you have and be done with it. But
Mhm.
instead of always going back and forth on, do I trust this little girl? Do I not trust this little girl? Because it's kind of convenient how she bumped into us. Yeah, then if you don't trust her, have her followed immediately. Have send some guards after her. You would have discovered everything sooner.
Yep. I agree. She should have set one of their spies on her from the very beginning, just for like, hey, a day, follow her, see what she does.
Exactly. Plus, in the beginning, there was no talk, like no actual talk of them adopting this
Yeah.
specific little girl. So it wouldn't have mattered. It's not like you go to an adoption agency and you're like, I'm gonna adopt this kid, and then oh, but now I'm gonna have her followed. No, this would have made
Yeah.
sense, and no one would have been upset about it. But then at the end, you're like, oh, now I'm gonna have her followed because why? It's convenient to leave us on the cliffhanger that's da da da. She's a Langa too.
And I'm not gonna lie, that was my guess literally from the beginning.
Okay.
Like, as soon as she came in and she's like, can you teach me to fight? I was like, oh my gosh, now that she's staying in the story, I was like, she's a Longa too. Like, so I don't know. And I do agree. Like, I even think because Falu was kind of pushing against her. She's like, she's not bad. She's fine. I don't think Falu would have even had a problem if she's like, hey, I'm going to set a spy to follow her one day for my
Yeah.
peace of mind. Falu would have been like, great. If you need
Yeah.
to do that for your peace of mind, do it. That's fine.
And also, they're like she's in a leadership position. It would have been the safest thing to do.
Exactly. Like, no one would have questioned that.
Nobody.
Like, I thought they should have done it, even though I, in my head, was like, I know what's going on. She's a Longa, right? But like, even in my head, I'm like, yeah, I would set someone on her. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years construct? But
They're all either Alonga or constructs at this point in my so
I know. I know. It's crazy. I don't get it.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get it either.
But I agree. I have never liked Renami. And I think that's actually kind of the opposite of what we're supposed to feel. Like we're supposed to like Renami and be rooting for her and watch Falu's character development. But honestly, all along, I liked Falu better.
I prefer Falu over Renami anytime.
Yeah, because I feel
Yeah.
like she had, like, all along, she did have morals. She didn't understand, but I felt like she was a good person. I never really liked Renami. I feel like she was just sneaky and underhanded all the time.
Which one is the one that's proposed again? Falu proposed to
Falu
yeah,
proposed.
and I hated that because I feel like this. I'm sorry, but this is a soapbox. I feel like this couple is not evenly matched. Like Renami has like been proposed to like 1,000 times. It feels
Yeah,
like
she says 100 times.
yeah, and it's yeah, literally 100 times. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. If I am proposing to my partner 100 times, at some point I start thinking maybe they're just not that into you. Like maybe you should watch that
Or
movie, you know?
maybe they're manipulating me and this is like emotional manipulation.
Yeah, or they're just with me to get to the whatever they need because I'm a political pawn for them. Have you
Because
thought about that, you know?
especially in the first book, she was.
Yeah,
He was using her.
literally.
She literally faked her own kidnapping to manipulate her. Like,
Exactly.
that
How could
was
you
horrible.
exactly. And how could you still then okay, so like seriously,
Mm-mm.
put yourself in
That's
that
like break up. Red flag.
imagine your husband did that before you got married. He got himself kidnapped. You had proposed already like 100 times. Then he uses you for something, and then like you just know that's not evenly matched. You love like Falu loves Renami, sure, but I am almost convinced that it's not reciprocal. And I don't know. It just feels like Falu could be so much stronger, and she should have said to Renami in the first book, like, you used me. You wait, and at the very end, it's again Falu who proposes, right when Renami
Yes,
finally says yes.
again.
There, she should have switched the roles, and she should have had Renami beg and like be on her knees to say, "I'm so sorry, I used you. I'm so sorry, I gave you the scare of your life. Like you thought I had been kidnapped."
She literally could have been killed. Falu came and she murdered these people that she didn't need to. Like, that is mean.
Exactly. And if I feel like there's no consequences for Renami at all, and that's why I don't like her.
I know.
I don't
I
like
agree. I don't like Renami either. I have grown to like Falu pretty well, but
same. I think in this book, Falu's perspective is a lot more interesting,
Mhm.
and I like seeing her work through certain things. Also with her father,
Yeah.
But yeah, Renami is just insufferable to me. I really like. Isn't there a scene where Falu is having like a audience like with the people, and then she
Yeah.
really is like really a good leader. She shows that she is not her
Yeah.
father and everything, and you see this woman has really learned. She's becoming a good leader. She's asking herself the right questions. She's doing her best, literally.
Yeah.
To her ability, she's doing her best. And then you just see that there's Renami right there, and you're like, well, I don't know, man. Like now you're trying to get us to think that Renami is actually just so in love, and like they're both in love, and this is not a healthy relationship. Like
No, because even at the end, she kicks her father out because she
oh
finds out
yeah,
he's a spy. And which great. Like she did a good job finding out who the spy was, getting that was good. But then she just does this behind Falu's back like that.
exactly.
Like, what? That is so sketch. What are you doing? Like, it's like, I don't trust Falu to make a good decision on this. So I am taking the decision away from her and removing her family so that she has no, like, she pretty much is making herself the only person Falu has anymore because her best friend just got killed and then she kicked out her dad.
Yeah,
Like,
and you're not the governor. You're married to the governor, so yeah, you are in a position of power in that sense. But
yeah.
Falu is the governor. She should be the one deciding how she's going to deal with traitors in her,
Yep.
under her power. And it's not Renami should never have made that decision. She should have gone to her and be like, listen, I know this is going to be tough for you to hear, but I'm convinced your father is a spy.
And
Then
here's my proof.
exactly. Then they go there and they can, because he didn't even try to deny it that much. Like
No.
he was like,
He denied it
"Oh,
for
you
like
caught
1
me."
second.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, oops. And so they could have gone down there and have him confess, and then have Falu make it. Would have been even so much more impactful if Falu had gone through all this and then, okay, fine, I'm learning that I need to accept this, and Renami doing it behind her back.
Yeah, while she was gone, so she could have no say in it.
Like how sketch is that? And if this, I'm sorry, but if in book 3
It's gonna
this
come
is
back
just
and bite
glossed, yeah, if this is just glossed over,
them.
and
Right?
oh, sorry. Yeah, that I would be so upset. Like honestly, if Falu doesn't react appropriately to this, I think I will be really angry because that like I would never forgive anyone for doing something like this to me. Like you're getting rid of all the people around me. Even though my father is a spy, fine, but it was not your call to make. This is my family. Second of all, like you said, you it means you don't trust me to make the right
Nope.
decisions, and that's just
And even if and it's saying you don't trust me to make a good decision and you think your decision is the only right one.
exactly that was the only path of doing this,
That's
and
not
that
a relationship.
no, it's like my way or the highway with Renami, and
Yep.
Falu is always just okay. It's your way then, and I hate it.
I know, because I feel like Falu could be such a good person, but her and Renami just drives me nuts.
Yeah. They do. They
Yeah.
do. I like Falu as her own character. I find her interesting in the second book, but I just don't love her relation. I hate it actually.
Yeah.
That
I know.
relationship.
I'm so over it. Wow.
I know.
Also, I know they heal a lot with the Ilonga. I guess it probably wouldn't happen, But if she could like grow her hand back, wouldn't that be kind of cool?
That would be kind of cool.
Like, how much healing do we have here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It would be cool though.
That'd be kind of crazy. Oh, wow.
Yeah, sorry, I just got really carried away with.
I feel like we got kind of fired up during this.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know. I can't. I don't like this relationship.
Okay, something else that I think is very weird, and maybe I'm the only one, but I find it extraordinarily uncomfortable that Jovis is falling in love with Lynn when she is literally wearing the eyes of his dead wife. And that was the first thing he noticed about her looks was her eyes. I'm like,
yep.
Oh, I don't like it. It feels gross. It feels
the
gross.
second you said it, my eyes started twitching too.
I'm just like, no. And plus, he doesn't know that those are actually Amala's eyes, but Lynn knows.
I thought he knew.
Mm-mm.
I thought, wasn't there a point in the book when he was like, "Oh, these were actually Amala's eyes"?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I was convinced that I heard that at some point. Well, maybe not, but
I maybe I forgot it. But either way, weird to me.
It's so weird because, like, okay, so I feel like a lot of in their case, human is a funny word, but I guess that a lot of emotion is conveyed through the eyes. Like when someone looks you in the eyes, you can tell how they feel about you. And then you having literally his dead wife's eyes being the one. It's just like, are you falling in love with her because it's weird.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't either. Like,
so I'm never going to be able to get on board with their relationship because of that, because it just gives me the ick.
yeah, exactly. And it's just, I don't know. I also feel like, I mean, you kind of called it in the last live show that you were like, oh, I think they're going to be romantically paired up. And I don't know. I just felt like in my head that he was so much older than her, you know?
Okay, I'm sorry, but this is actually adult.
This is adult, yeah.
This is adult, not YA. But yes, I agree. Their relationship feels very juvenile. And like you were going down this with your comment. It probably feels juvenile because she's like 5 or something.
And she doesn't have her memories in the first book. So she's like struggling to find everything back. And I just kept on feeling like he was so much older and so much, you know, because even if he's 20 and she's 18, I don't know what the actual age is, but
well, she's supposed to be, I think, 23.
Okay. And even if he's 30, okay, it's not that big of a deal. 30 to 23, who cares? But she literally has the mental thing of like a child because she doesn't have her memory, she doesn't know anything, and she hasn't existed. She hasn't had
she hasn't existed.
Even if you have the memories of someone else or fake memories that were implanted in you, you don't have the emotional intelligence to get there, to know things. And it feels so icky to me.
Yeah, because they're talking about how she was made after their family went to visit the king, right?
Yes.
And that was what, like, max 15 years ago, right? Like, I don't know if it said, I can't remember, but it wasn't, I think max 15 years is what I would give it.
Yeah.
I could be a little off on there, but she wasn't even the first one he made. So she is probably like less than 10 years old. So it's just weird to me because she's not actually that old. She's essentially a child.
I'm honestly wondering if she didn't just start living at the beginning of last book. You know, like, was that her first incarnation, I guess?
Like, is she only like 3 years old, maybe? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
because like it just feels very uncomfortable for her to have a relationship when we don't know how old she is. She has like and when she talks about her experiences, she's like, I have memories. I'm like, oh, with your dad. Ew.
That's so true. Oh gosh, that's even worse. Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I am not, like, they could have left her relationships out of this.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't think a romance was not needed in this book, at least not with Jovis and her.
Mhm.
I think it just feels shoehorned in, and it's just like, did we need this? And it's icky and it's gross, and I don't like it. And
Yeah. Because, like, she can't be older than 10 years old because
no,
Jovis's wife was stolen 10 years ago and she has her eyes.
yeah,
So she
what,
has
7 years
to be
ago,
10
right?
or younger.
Wasn't Jovis's was like 7 years
Oh,
ago?
was it 7?
I think something like that. 7 or 10. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's not that big of a
Even,
difference.
let's say 10. He had to grow it then, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't know that process. She is 10 or under.
Yeah. And this is the question. Like, I have a friend who he likes to ask uncomfortable questions, and I know this is your channel, so I'm really gonna like PG-13 the question. But he always asks uncomfortable questions. And one time we were at dinner and he's like, okay, so I have a question. You can't say neither. You have to pick one of the options. And the question was, would you rather be with someone who is in the body of an adult but has the mind of a child, or the body of a child with the mind of an adult? And you have to pick. Well, yeah, I told you he's weird. But anyway, this is what is this. I know, but this is what this feels like. She has the body of an adult with the mind of a child, with memories of someone else that she never was, and the memories she has are incestuous.
Right. So I'm like, the memories being that of an older person doesn't really help me feel better about this situation.
No, because they're not her memories.
Mm-hmm.
What did Michelle say?
Ooh, that is true. Like, he knows he just lost Mephi and he's just like walking up smiling to Lynn. I'm like, dude, I would be freaking out.
Yeah.
I would be losing it. I'd be like, get me your army. We're going after them.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because Mephi is like, he's central to everything. Like,
I honestly feel like it's very strange to me that he didn't go ask for help from Geo. Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, we're on the same side.
We're
like,
both along. Let's
help
just
me get this guy back. Plus, hey, they have your sword.
just she forgot. Yeah, no, seriously. And it's like, I don't know, because again, I always try to put myself in the shoes of the characters, and I'm like, if I knew that my cat was the one giving me powers and healing, and like, without my cat, I'm just a normal mortal, I would be like, Starkey would be like attached to my body. I would never let him go anywhere. And the second he disappears, I would be freaking out. Especially because it's not just the power, it's also they have a bond, a special bond. You know?
Like, it feels like it hurts each other.
Exactly.
Like I would ask Geo, I'd be like, where is yours? What happened? Is this why you're a little bit so bitter because you lost your like companion?
But does he stop being in Ilonga if Mephi is gone?
See, that I don't think so. I think you can kill them and you still are in Ilonga. Because remember when Mephi had Rhaegons in his jaws and he's like, I'll kill it. And Rhaegon's like, you don't know how that works.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it makes me think that maybe you don't, because we've never seen Geos. And maybe that was what happened. Maybe that like first Phoenix Emperor killed his companion and let him live.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Because otherwise he would still be having the power of a god. And right now it just kind of feels like he has the power of a normal beginner Ilonga, right? Okay. He's not like destroying islands at this point.
Right.
And maybe it's because his animal's gone.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just like my theory.
But still, you wouldn't want Mephi to be gone, regardless.
No, my gosh. Like, and you're just like grinning afterwards, chatting with Lynn. No. I would literally be running to Geo, be like, please, 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 please help me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask anyone for help. He's just going to go off on his own.
No.
This makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I think I'm having a bit of issues connecting emotionally to the story, to the characters, to everything, because a lot of it just feels either super, super convenient. It doesn't always make sense, and there's a lot of icky shit. Oh, sorry, there's a lot, like, especially in the relationships, and I feel like characters and relationships are what really make me like or dislike a book / story.
Yeah.
And all the relationships we have in this book are super freaking toxic. Like, Nisong is super toxic to all her people. Jovis and Lynn is icky as all get out, as we've mentioned. Falu and Renami we've talked about. Like, do we have other relationships? Not big ones, So, like,
no.
I don't know. It feels a bit icky to me.
It does. I
Yeah.
agree. I feel like the good relationships were like the blacksmith and his family, and they're all dead. And then
Yeah.
her best friend and his wife, he's dead. So we're just killing off the healthy relationships.
Yeah. And yeah, it's why it's really hard to root for something because honestly, if Runami and Falu don't end up together, I'm happy. If Jovis and Lynn don't end up together, I'm very happy as well. I
Yeah,
think the only thing that would really make me sad is if something happens to Mephi. For
I know.
anyone else can die, and I wouldn't care.
Yeah,
And that's
I
just
agree.
sad, because it's like I don't want I want if there's because I sure as anything hope that there is casualties in the last book,
Yeah.
but
I'm
at the
guessing
same
Geo will die.
yeah,
That's
but
my
that doesn't count. Like I want someone that we're supposed to like.
yeah.
But the problem is I wouldn't care. Except for Mephi. I wouldn't care if any of the
Yeah,
others
that's true.
died.
I really don't care if I feel like I would have cared more if Jovis died before this book.
Yeah, oh yeah. At the end of book 1, I would have really cared if Jovis died.
But now I
But at
don't.
this point I'm
I feel like
like,
he's stupid. Like you didn't know what that sword was. This very, very powerful man who can open the hidden doors. And you didn't guess he was alone. Go like, what? Anyway, sorry. Tells you, hey, be real careful with that. It's dangerous. And then you just like give it away for a month's worth of these nuts. Like, you're the best smuggler that ever existed. Smuggle some there. My gosh.
I know.
Stupid.
I know. And it's really like the decision making is like, how did you like you don't know what you
He
it's
traded
like
that sword for some nuts. He's so dumb.
exactly. It's like if someone said, "Do you want some pumpkin seeds? I'll give you a nuclear weapon for it." And you're like, "Oh yeah, sure." Like, who does that?
Right. It's like, here, I have a couple vaccinations for this disease. It'll save some people, not everyone, but some. It's only a month's worth. But give me this sword that literally kills godlike beings. Like, what? No. No.
No,
That's insane.
it
And
is.
he's not that stupid. Like, I feel like that was extremely out of character for him.
Yeah, because even in the first book, he is often weighing the pros and cons of his actions and like, if I'm gonna save these people, is it worth hurting these? Like he's always weighing the weight of his actions, I guess. And then he's just like, all right, okay.
And honestly, I think he could have found some illegally a different way.
Of course he
He's
could have.
smart and he has so much connections now being the captain of the guard.
And
Like,
being like this hero.
yeah, he could have obtained them illegally a different way. That was stupid.
Yeah. Especially again, the best smuggler ever known. Like you can't tell me he couldn't have done this in
Han
any other
Solo
way.
would not have done that.
That literally that was my thought. I was like, Han Solo would never do this, but
No. Yeah, so I was like, no. I just feel like so many of the plot decision points, I was like, this is no, what do you no?
yeah, I agree. And there was never a moment where I was again, I wasn't unlike you, I haven't been because I've just been listening to them as I've been doing things. I haven't been paying super close attention like you have, so you figured everything out. But I was never shocked.
Yeah.
Even if and again, I know, again, very mean to contrast things, but if I contrast this to my rereading of A Storm of Swords, where so much happens in that book, I was like washing my toilets, and then the Red Wedding happens, and you're like, oh, wait, like it hurts. And here it's just like, oh, right, okay, this is happening. Oh, right, this is happening.
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes!
Yep.
I love it. He really is.
Yeah.
He has Mephi and we have Chewie.
Yep. And then Lynn is like the princess kind of deal.
Nope. Han Solo. Jovis is Han Solo. It's true. Like, it's not even a subtle.
No.
You just like snatched that person and put it into Jovis.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yes.
So yeah. It's just why I was a bit struggling with the book in general. And I thought, wow, like how I didn't know how much I would have to say about it today, but I guess we have been talking for almost an hour. But
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't rate books anymore, but I feel like this book is so
Mid.
mid.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I think she did a good job writing the battle scenes. I thought it was very
Mhm.
intriguing. I think the world itself is very interesting. I think Geo is a very intriguing character. Apart from the things that we talked about where I had issues with, right? Like, I think he's really interesting. I think that it could have been really intriguing, the standoff with Lin and Nisong.
Yes.
Like, I think there was so much potential. It wasn't executed, in my opinion.
Yeah, to me, it feels like a lot of it is missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Especially some of the showdowns, and even I don't know, like his Jovis's mom appearing at one point in the book. It
Yeah,
feels
well,
like exactly. See, it feels forgettable. It feels. What was the point of that again? I
the
don't even
point of
remember.
that was so that he would know his island had Bogcough, and he would trade the sword for the nuts. That
Again,
was the entire point of her showing up.
how long had it been since she hadn't seen him? Did they mention that again?
Years.
Yeah, and there it is. There we go again. It's just convenient for the plot.
Yeah, it was just plot convenience. Yes, book 3 is the conclusion, and I have heard mixed things about it. I think, Jessie from Bookish Mom absolutely loved it,
Yeah, that I know.
and there was one TikTok that I saw where the person is like, "This was a horrible ending, it was very rushed, and a lot of it made no sense," and so I'm like, "Oh, I already feel that way a little." I mean, I don't feel like the second one is rushed, but I already feel like a lot of it I'm like, "What? No."
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous because I heard Jesse say like a specific word regarding the ending, which is
Mm,
not really a spoiler, but I know some people don't want to know the tone of the ending.
yeah.
So, but she said the tone of the ending, and that's usually what I like in books. But I don't know if I'm invested enough.
Yeah. So for me, I think something I'm not going to like about it is the fact that we now have like Jovis off doing his thing, Lynn off doing her thing, and our other character that we're following, Nisong, I don't want her to still be alive. So can we please not have her perspectives, right? So I'm not really looking forward to Jovis's because I think that it's really stupid that he gave them the sword to begin with. So I'm already going to be annoyed every one of his chapters if he's
Yeah.
trying to fight the Eye of Karn.
Yeah.
Lynn, I think hers could be pretty interesting. Finding out
Yeah.
more about Alanga, digging deeper into like her dad's memories, figuring out like I think hers could be essentially interesting. I don't hate her. She's interesting. I don't really want the Renami ones. The Renami and Fallow ones are going to drive me nuts because of all their just like stupidness.
Especially now that this thing with the dad happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's either going to be drama or underwhelming. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just saying like that's like everyone's like splitting up and we're going to be like following them through their little split up things and it's going to be really annoying because I think Jovis is going to take on the Eye of Karn, Lynn's going to take on like Nisong and whatever, and then Fallow's going to take on Geo. Like, is everyone just going to take out one of the bads on their own? Like, come on.
I know it feels a bit.
They've stretched it out too much.
Yeah. Which this is not helped by the fact that this is an archipelago. It's not like you have a one big. Well, I guess they could fight on Imperial, but I don't know. I'm a bit scared, honestly. I'm glad we're doing this read along. Well, this buddy read because
Yeah.
I think I would have struggled to finish it otherwise.
Yeah, I feel like the first one set up. I had issues with the first one, but it set up for something really good, right? I was
Yeah.
like, this could go really well. And the second one has just been kind of a letdown for me. And I'm like, I just feel a little annoyed. Like I just have an irritated feeling.
Yeah. I'm not the most optimistic going into book 3. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too. My expectations are definitely lower than they were before reading book 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
but it's very pretty.
Yeah, at least that you can say that these covers are stunning. They will always look very nice on the shelf. So
yeah.
And we will have had these live shows. I mean, that's always like a fun part for me. It's remembering that then we've buddy read them. You know, we talked about it, and us getting so annoyed at Renami and Fallow.
I know.
I can't believe we just like went off on that one.
Well, Well, I feel like it's made out to be this very amazing story of these people who've
Yeah.
grown together and love each other so much, and they're such great leaders. I'm like, that's not my feelings.
That's okay. I was having dinner at a friend's house, and she was telling me about a book that she read, like the only book she's ever hated. And then she was like, and the problem that why she hated the book was because she felt that the actions of people like that were being glorified. Like you're supposed to like what you're reading about. Like you said, they're supposed to be such a good couple and such good leaders. And you're just like, no, they're not. And I could tell, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
And so, unless a huge shift happens in book 3, but for 2 books, they've been this toxic relationship. You can't convince me now all of a sudden there's something magical is going to happen. And they're like, okay, now we're healthy. Because the basis isn't healthy.
Nope. Well, she literally just like betrayed her so bad. Again.
I know. Like, I swear to you, like, I don't know how I'm going to react, but it's either going to be, I'm going to be like, yes, Falu, you're right. If she finally says, listen, Rhanami, this time you went too far. You went too far. You should have trusted me. You should have talked to me. It was not your place to make this decision. And I want that. But then when Nami's going to be all dramatic, like, ugh, I don't know.
You wouldn't have believed me. And
Yeah,
I was a hetero orphan, so I can make the tough calls.
Oh my God. Exactly. And then it's either going to be that, and I'm just going to be annoyed at Rhanami about what's new, or Falu's just going to be like, okay, fine. I'm subservient again. Like, it's okay. I'll accept it. And then I'm going to be like, no, this is dumb.
I'm out. I'm done.
I hated it.
Chapters.
Yep. Quickly going through them because, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining our live show. I hope you enjoyed it.
Hearing us rant for an hour.
I did not expect it to go quite like that. But
me neither.
Honestly, I'm irritated. Irritated. We will post the next live show. We will be reading The Bone Shard War, and we'll see how this ends. Hopefully you like it. I mean, hopefully it steps up, right?
Yeah.
Ends on a high note. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm going in with I'm like going to expect it to be good. I'm not going to go in expecting to hate it. So.
No. I'm going to expect it to be a step up from book 2.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, Michelle. This was fun, and see you guys next time.
Bye.